credit specialist for the 80/20 podcast. Today, we're going to talk to you guys quickly about when will real estate prices go down or decrease in general. Let's go into it. So, for those who don't know, the market is shifting again, and this is actually a good shift. Essentially, what's happening is buyers are out. They're looking at homes, right? And that's how it's supposed to be in real estate. So, real estate is most definitely picking back up. Now, why is that when real estate, when I would say interest rates haven't really, like shown, well, for one, they have shown signs of going down, but they are still higher than what they were back in 2017, 2018, 2019, and most definitely from 2020. Okay. And the reason is because things still happen. People still need to make moves, like literally. Sometimes it could be because of their landlords or whatever. But here's the thing. You got to understand what makes prices go down in general. All right. Let's go into it. Number one, usually what makes prices go down is when the market is nervous. That's when the general public, they're not sure about what they want to do with their money. They're not sure about, what their job is looking like. They're not sure about what their investments are looking like. It's usually when there's a lot of fear in the economy. As of right now, it's like anything else. This is probably not the best comparison, but it's almost like, and I mentioned this in another video, it's almost like when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, right? That lasted for like weeks, if not a month, right? But eventually, like everything else, no matter how good or bad things are, people will move on. That's the general, just way of just human life, right? And so because of that, interest rates, let's go back into it. Interest rates were a lot lower from 2020 and years prior. They are not horrible now, but they can most definitely be better. But at the same time, that doesn't change how your landlord is, with going up on the rent or the conditions of things. That doesn't change the fact that your family has grown larger, right? That doesn't change that your family has gotten smaller. That doesn't change that you may be looking to move in general. That doesn't change the fact that you may have a personal goal to go into home ownership or rental property ownership. Okay. So it just really depends on how that goes in general. But usually, when the economy is nervous, when people don't know what's going on, when we're talking about egg prices, when we're talking about all this crazy stuff, right? That's usually when sellers are in a position and they say, okay, you know what? I need to sell, but I can't control the economy. And this is the same goes for sellers as well too. Some sellers need to downgrade, some need to upgrade, some want to move. Some have to move. Some are going through a divorce. Someone just died. So there's a lot of different variables. It's just life, and when life happens, the real estate market is the real estate market. Now, obviously, we've heard people say a lot of different things. We've heard people say, "Well, I'm just going to wait until the interest rates, go down, or I'm going to wait until prices go down." Guys, there's no telling what's going to end up happening because right now the market's doing pretty good. That's why it took so long for, and that's really why the economy hasn't really coined and not really like stamped there, whether we're in a recession or not. Because a recession is not just, higher prices and a few jobs being lost. It's the amount of people, it's the amount of numbers. And so you really have to have a struggling economy, kind of like when gas prices were up and we were kind of going into that phase. That's when we were getting like close to that point. But at the same time, there are still a lot of places hiring. And so since a lot of places are hiring, you're not going to get, that official stamp, of the recession that kind of like we saw back in '08. Like you knew that was something, right? And there was money being sent to people. That's when you know it's bad, when people are getting money, right? But typically when real estate prices go down is usually when there's a lot of a lot of guessing, a lot of question marks. It's a lot of unsureness about where the economy is going, and sellers are stuck with their properties. And in order to get unstuck, they say, listen, I got to sell it for less than the market value. So we did just pass that window. Okay. That window was about September of last year, maybe the beginning of October of last year. And then that ended around about March. And then the numbers went down again, like, towards the end of March, majority of April. And then things picked back up around the end of April, really the beginning of May. So now, again, we're going into that summer season in which, everyone has a little more free time. It feels good outside. And it's time to, start going after your goals. But again, if you're looking or waiting For real estate prices to go down, you're going to have to wait and see what happens to the economy. But you also got to understand something as well too. Just because prices go down does not mean that there's something else that's looming around, okay? So you got to keep that in mind, and it all depends on how much you're looking to save. But keep in mind, guys, there's always, hear me again on this. There's always a great deal out there. Whether you're looking to buy a single family home just to live in, whether you're looking to buy a property and flip it, there's always going to be someone that's a little bit more desperate or not necessarily desperate, but they're just not in the best financial position, or they just don't have the amount of time. They don't want to play any games. So, you still have those individual examples, and they are out here. I promise you, they are out here. Some things are off the market, which means it's not on the MLS, and you kind of got to, network with some people. I have that as well. And then you have, of course, what's on the MLS. For those who don't know, the MLS is the multiple listing service. That's where Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, all those bigger sites, that's where they pull the information from. And every state or subsection has what they call an MLS. Okay. And essentially, when something is on that MLS, that does not mean that the price is not negotiable. Here's what I want you guys to understand is that if you have a seller, right, they want to sell their home, but they've had their home on the market for like, let's say a month, guys, they're okay with probably giving you a small discount. So you can always get a deal. But if a seller wants to sell and they don't mind giving a $10,000 discount, but there are multiple people who want to buy that property, guess what? That seller doesn't have to do what? They don't have to get that discount because people want that property. So location is going to play a major role. There are certain areas that haven't seen much of a shift in the real estate market because it's a hot area. It could be the school district, it could be the where the suburb is placed. It may not even be the suburb. It may be somewhere downtown. So there are these little pockets, and everyone has these little pockets in their cities, in their states, where real estate is just doing better than other areas. Okay. So again, as far as prices going down, you're going to have to wait to see what the economy does, but there's always these one-off situations that you still can benefit from, that you still can take advantage of. But if you're looking for a massive price drop, that's when that's when sellers are painted into a corner, and it's not a lot of people looking for properties, but they have to sell their property. And in order to sell the property, they got to sell it for, I won't say little to nothing, but that's where usually the price discounts are going to come in. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not right now. Okay. So again, right now, you got a little bit of competition, but nothing crazy. Like if you like a house, you may have to be at list price. You may not get closing cost credits. And guys, that's just the name of the game. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But if you really want that, you're going to have to wait. And here's the worst part. You don't know how long you're going to be waiting. So you're just going to keep seeing properties being taken by other people. And you just have to decide for yourself, okay, am I willing to have short-term pain for long-term gain? Right now, it's going to hurt a little bit, but I promise you, the longer you wait, typically prices naturally go up. You get dips in prices, but you'll never see a dip to compare to the rise in prices. I'll give you an example. Matter of fact, we'll use these last few months and then we'll go ahead and wrap up. In the last few months, you've seen, I would say probably that section I was telling you guys about October to about about March or so. During that short time frame, that's when the market was kind of slow. People were not dropping their prices $50,000 because they just got about $50,000 of equity, between 2020 and 2021. So with that being said, if everyone's prices have gone up about $50,000 just from the market doing what it was doing back in 2020, 2021, when it got slow these past few months, guys, they didn't drop their prices 50,000. They dropped it like maybe 10,000, 15,000, maybe 20,000, depending on the price point and how fast they had to sell. You guys get where I'm going? So real estate's going to always go like this. It's going to be up, and then it's going to go down a bit, then it's going to go up, and then it's going to go down a bit, then it's going to go up. But one thing for sure, it's going to always go up. And here's how we know this. A house that was for sale back in 1980, whatever they bought that for, you're not going to see that price again in 2023, right? So in 1990, in year 2000, in year 2010, those prices are gone. Okay. So you have to have a realistic expectation as to what type of decrease are you looking for. Now, again, if you're an investor, you already know the game. You have the right expectations. But if you're buying property and you're buying it to live in it with your family and things of that sort, first time home buyer and grants and down payment assistance, all that stuff, when you're just buying a regular house or even a 2 unit property, a 3 unit or 4 unit, you're just buying a regular house that you're just moving right on into. Those properties are not going to be giving huge discounts like that, guys. That's how real estate works. So it's all about having the right expectations. But again, are there some deals out there? They are. But as soon as they're out there, it's like blood in the water, and here comes the sharks, right? You're not the only one interested. So most real estate agents will tell you, listen, we can't stop competition. No matter how much you love a house, you better hope nobody else loves that house the same way. But I will give everyone a word of advice. If you like something, put it in an offer on it. At least see what they're going to say back, guys. Okay. And again, guys, if you're looking to improve your credit score the right way and qualify for home ownership, rental property ownership, or you just simply want to improve your credit score, check out our advanced credit blueprint. It's helping a lot of people. You're probably seeing it right down here scrolling at the bottom of the screen, simply because we've helped hundreds of people get in position for homeownership, and we've helped thousands of people nationwide qualify for homeownership as well too, guys. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful. If you like this video, like it. You want to share it, and as always, be sure to subscribe, as we got nothing but great content well on the way. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the next